Good afternoon everybody, welcome to Djuma and Arathusa and welcome to your Safari Live. It's still quite a bit of a cloudy afternoon. The rain has subsided a little bit. This afternoon I've got Jason on camera, my name's Alex, and we've got Brian directing, and we've also got Mark in control as well. We had a quick look around just before we started. The pride of lions that we saw this morning have moved off, so I think the first plan of action is to go and find some tracks for these lions and try and track them down and try and get another sighting for them. We'll also check out a couple of the dams, see what's around and see what's lurking, and see what we can see. As we're driving, please don't hesitate to ask any questions. This is an interactive drive, so send your questions to questions@wildearth.tv, or you can tweet us at #SafariLive. But yeah, let's get cracking and let's enjoy the drive. Now, obviously the weather has cooled down quite considerably over the last 24 hours. Yesterday was absolutely scorching hot. Today it's a lot less cooler. It's probably only about 19, maybe 21 degrees maximum. That's, sorry, degrees Celsius that is. So a lot of the predators will hopefully be a bit more active and giving us a bit more opportunity to see them in action rather than just lying around and being flat cats. So yeah, we'll see what we can see. Sorry, just wait for this vehicle to come past. Hello there. How are you doing? Yeah, no, thank you. You see where the Ngala went? Still there? Oh, they're still there? So a little bit further in. Okay, cool, thank you.
Not easy to get in.
Okay, I'll give it a go with this.
Dogs, have you heard any more?
No, not heard anything. I'm going to go and have a look at the top road and see if I can find any tracks and see anything. Okay, enjoy guys, take care. It's probably a good thing those cats haven't moved very far. Hopefully that'll be a sign that they might become active not too long from now. Sorry, Brian, could you repeat that name, please? Sid. Okay. There's a question come through. Sorry, I'm still struggling to get the name correctly. Just pull forward a bit. The question was, why don't the big cats attack the vehicles, the open vehicles? Now, the reason for this is, I'll just position myself a little bit better for you, is they've pretty much been habituated to actually realise that the vehicles aren't a threat or aren't prey really. So they are kind of, well, the word used is habituated to the vehicles from a very early age. They're raised with vehicles constantly around them, and game drive vehicles passing around them. So they're pretty much used to these vehicles from a very, very early age. And the parents obviously have shown the youngsters that they're also, these vehicles aren't of any danger. So that's one of the main reasons why these vehicles aren't seen as a threat or prey. Now, obviously, when we do approach these cats, such as these, or any other cat really, they kind of see the vehicle as one entity. They don't really see it as a moving lunchbox or a buffet. But if we were to get up, wave our arms around, or even get out of the vehicle, that would break the silhouette, and also advertise that there could be meaty morsels inside, or even potential threats inside. Now, I'm going to see if I can reposition slightly, just to see if I can get a better picture. Although Jason has got quite a nice picture.
Black screen.
Black screen. Okay, interesting. Now, I'm wondering if I can pull forward a little bit just to get a better picture for you. Yeah, I'm going to reposition the vehicle a bit. Now I'm thinking in through there. Now, these vehicles are absolutely superb for their purpose. They're small, they're nimble, very, very mobile. See, but I'm just trying to plan a nice little route to get in to see these guys a bit better. Now, I'm just wondering if there's a better position that I can get to from the main road. So if you just bear with me, I'm just going to reverse out. Actually, forward a bit. There we go. That's going to be a nicer picture for you. Let me know when you're set for it, Jason. There we go. Nice guys. Pull forward back an inch. There we go, ladies and gents. Is that a better picture for you? There we go. Now, from what I can remember, this is the Nkuhuma Pride? Nkuhuma or Nkuhuma Pride. I'll probably need some check my notes on these guys. There was 9 of them this morning. I can see 1, 2, Lots of teeth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think all 9 are still there. Still pretty flat cat. Just having a good old stretch. There's a bit of social bonding going on there as well. They are starting to get a little bit more active, and they are still pretty... Oh, bless you. Still pretty flat cat, but they are just showing a little bit more energy rather than being completely lethargic. Big female at the back just having a good old sniff of the air. That's sweet. There's a bit of aloe grooming going on in there as well, which is a very, very good way for these cats to bond socially. It's obviously reciprocated, so the cats will groom each other, they'll clean each other. I suppose this is carried on from when they were cubs, when the mother used to clean them. Just strengthens the social bonds within the group. Two at the back having a bit of a cuddle, actually, by the looks of it. Oh, that's so cute. There's a bit of a playful, gentle wrestle there. Oh, nice big stretch. This is just lovely behaviour to watch. It's just a mass of claws, jaws and paws. Can't really think of a better way to start an afternoon. Just spending some time with sort of Africa's wildlife and nature. Oh. It's just the size of the paws always amazes me. No matter how many times I see lions, no matter when I see them, just the size of their paws, it just amazes me. The power and the strength that they can put behind that when they take a swipe at the prey, or even when they're fighting amongst. No, that female's just wandered off to have a bit of a comfort break, and I think she'll probably rejoin the rest of the pride shortly. Just distanced off from the rest of where they were sleeping. Oof. The young male's got a nice little mohawk going on there, bit of bedhead. He's got the beginnings of a very, very nice mane. Oof. Actually, I'm just going to roll forward because there's a slight little bit of a tumble going on just in there. Bear with me. Sorry guys. Okay, just had a question from John in Connecticut asking if these lions are part of a pride. Well, John, I'd... 2 seconds, just turn the channel down. Sorry, John, just turning down my game drive channel. In answer to your question, John, these guys are part of a pride. This is probably the majority of this pride, as far as I'm aware. There will be a large dominant male as well, which will be part of this pride. I don't think it's that guy with a slightly dark mohawk that's in amongst all this massive jaws, paws, and claws. I think he'll probably be off somewhere, spending a bit of time with himself. But there's 9 here. That's a nice sized pride. So I think pretty much these guys will be their own pride with the dominant male kind of on the outskirts somewhere. He may well be just kind of taking a bit of time to himself, or maybe just going off and just exploring his territory and just reaffirming some of his boundaries. But yes, John, these guys are a pride in themselves, I believe. So I'm just going to reposition slightly again. Okay, question from Julian on Twitter asking how old the male is. I only caught a glimpse of him, but he probably looks to be somewhere between maybe 2.5, maybe 3 years old at a push. He's still obviously not fully grown or fully developed, but he is quite a size already. And I wouldn't actually be surprised if there is another big dominant male within this group, if he was actually going to start to be pushed out by the dominant male within the pride. But at a guesstimation, he's probably about 2.5 to 3 years old. These guys are starting to get active now. Okay, had an interesting question from Elise on Twitter asking if it's unusual to have a male with this group of females. I wouldn't say it was completely unusual, Elise. I mean, he is getting towards the age where he will he'll start to kind of stretch out on his own or be forced out by a dominant male within the group. So he probably hasn't got too much longer to be with this pride if he's going to be tolerated by the dominant male. He's probably quite an older cub of one of the older females, so he's going to be related to these guys more than likely. Well, pretty much sure that he's going to be related to these guys. So in that respect, no, it's not completely unusual that he's with them. But I wouldn't actually give it too much longer before he actually kind of starts to leave this pride, because he's still showing kind of playful tendencies with some of the other members of the pride. As you can see, there's some nice action going on with him. But yeah, soon he'll start to get a bit too rough and a bit too male lion-esque, as it were, and they'll start to kind of usher him out of the pride, and then the dominant male will probably kind of tell him to kind of pack his bags and move on a little bit. I'm just going to reposition a little bit for you so you can get a bit more of a better picture. Now you can see what the female's doing there. She's just having a bit of a scent in the air. She's got a bit of a scent. Oops. How's that? How's that, Jason? Such fantastic eyes on these cats. Ooh, there we go. Just going to come for a little bit of explore, so if we just sit here quietly. Hopefully they'll come right past the front of the vehicle. Pride is getting to be pretty active now. There's one just using sweet. And besides these two to the left of the vehicle, there's one just in the thickets, just using a tree as a bit of a scratching post. Yeah, these guys are getting pretty active, and I think, by judging by the size of the bellies, they're probably just going to move on and just maybe have a bit of a hunt, and if there's anything, to see what happens. I think these guys might head up to the main road, potentially. He's just sampling the air to kind of see, just test any pheromones that are in the air. What we call the Fleming grin. I think she's got her eye on you, Jason. Oh. This is nice. I just had a very interesting question from Valerie on Twitter, asking if I've ever heard of males which have been extradited from a pride coming back and taking that pride over from their father. I'm going to be honest with you, Valerie. I've not heard of that. No. I mean, obviously. The cats will be kind of related in some way or another, so it probably wouldn't be in their best interests to actually come back to sorry, I'm just chuckling at that picture. I wouldn't actually think it'd be worth or to their benefit. I'm just being eyeballed by a female that's just coming past the vehicle. I don't think it would be really much of benefit to the pride itself, to the genetic diversity within the pride, if a young male was extradited and then came back. I mean, it's not within the realms of impossibilities, certainly not. But it's not something that I've actually heard of, where a male has been kicked out of his family pride and come back and taken it over and mated with the females in that pride. I think it would be to the detriment of the genetic stock within that pride, just for inbreeding purposes. But quite an interesting question, thank you. Right, I'm just going to turn around while we've got the opportunity, because these cats are moving, so we'll try and stick with them as best as we can. And we'll try not to lose a cameraman on the thorns. Be a bit of a wiggle, sorry guys. They are just moving at about 9 o'clock. Get in there. Let's see if we can get a bit closer in there. Oh, the road's just there, so I'm going to head back the way we came and go onto the main road instead of trampling through all the bushes. Looks like these guys might be heading across into quarantine, where we started not too long ago. Now if you look, don't know if you can get a shot of this, Jason, you can see the size of the paw prints that they actually produce. Quite clearly see the almost like the W shape of the 3 lobes in the trucks. I think that one seems to have a bit of a cold. Right, if you want to get a screenshot, now's your chance. That's fantastic. Look at that. That's cute. Look at him just peeking around that tree trunk. Here comes Mama. Okay, just had a question from Jacqueline on Twitter asking how male lions mark their territory. Well, Jacqueline, they kind of do it in the same respects that your domestic cats will as well. Sorry, just making sure I'm out of the shot. They'll urinate, they'll spray, and they'll also defecate around the boundaries of their territory. Scent marking. This behaviour is fantastic. Look how playful they are. So sorry, yes, just getting distracted there slightly, Jacqueline. They'll demark the territory by scent marking, and also scratching on trees and also all those sort of aspects, like your domestic cats will as well. But yeah, predominantly they'll use spray and also feces to demark their territory. Just going to roll forward a little bit, see if we can keep up with these guys. Although these two, to be fair, are giving us quite a lot of nice entertainment. Nice big female through there as well. Do seem to be moving in the general direction that we're pointing, so I'm just going to pull forward a bit and see if we can kind of get them as they come to cross the road. We'll get a nice big clear sighting of them. Okay, just had a very interesting question from Jennifer in New York. Hi Jennifer, how are you doing? Jennifer's wanting to know how likely it would be for the Birmingham boys to take over this pride. To quote Mr. Weiner, it all depends really. It would depend on if the Birmingham boys came into contact with this pride. That would be the biggest variable within that, but also dependent on the actual dominant male for this pride as well. It depends on his strength, and if he had any other big males on his side as well. But I mean, there's going to be five 5 male lions in that coalition of the Birmingham boys. So I mean, they are going to be a pretty big force to reckon with. I mean, if they did come into contact with a pride, and they decided that, yeah, we want to take this over, they would be a very, very, very big force to reckon with for any group, really. If it was just for one dominant male, then he would be in for a very rough ride indeed. But as for whether they would take over this particular pride, there's a number of variables. But I mean, they may well do. They may well take over this pride if they do come into contact with them, and the dominant male in this pride isn't successful in defending what's his. Now, the cubs, or the smallest cubs that are within this pride, it would be if the Birmingham boys did take over this pride, it would be very interesting to see what would happen with them. When a dominant male within a pride is killed or kicked out of a pride, the new resident male will more than likely kill the cubs, or the youngest cubs from within the pride, just to kind of ensure that it's his genetic line that is going to be continuing. So if the Birmingham boys did come into contact and did take this pride over, it would be quite interesting to see what would happen with the younger members within this group. But yeah, it's an interesting question to ask. It's just it would be a very, very interesting spectacle to watch if this pride did come into into contact with the Birmingham boys. Okay, I'm still on the access road. On the access road, coming back towards control. Okay. Yeah, so I was just keeping control updated as to our location. No, there's a nice shot just in front, Jason. We're just probably about maybe between 500 and 600 meters away from our control room. So we haven't actually managed to go that far, but we don't really need to at the moment, because this is just superb. It's a bit of a pride termite mound for this chap. I can almost hear all the viewers shouting "Lion King, Lion King," or Simba. I'm just going to move. There's another vehicle coming, so I'm just going to move out of the way for them. Starting to come out of the thicket, so if we just get a little bit ahead of them, we should get a nice picture of them. Hello, how are you? Hello. A question through from Sally in Wisconsin, asking what the spots are on the back of the lion's ears. These black spots are used for as kind of like signalling the rest of the members of the pride. It's kind of like a bit of a follow me, so they can actually see them. So they're used in a bit of a communication thing, as with the tips of the black tail as well. Now this is superb. Now we've got youngest members of the Pride just bringing up the rear to our right. Oof. How's that for a family portrait? We just had a question from Jacqueline on Twitter asking how long a Pride will stay together. It's a bit of a tricky one to answer, Jacqueline, because usually a Pride will stay together for generations upon generation upon generation. As Mark was explaining this morning, it's usually the females within the Pride which kind of hold the Pride together. It's the males which are the transient members. So it's kind of a rolling, ongoing family group. If one male comes along and takes over the Pride by killing a dominant male, he's the new member to the Pride, but the rest of the oops. Obviously lions aren't as agile when it comes to climbing trees, but this is superb. Sorry, getting back to the question. Yeah, I don't think there really is a definitive answer to how long a Pride will stay together. It's probably more of a question of how long, or how long potentially a dominant male will be in dominance of a Pride, and that can range between maybe 2 to 4 to even 8 years, depending on the size and the power and strength of a particular male lion. But the actual Pride itself will pretty much stay together on a continuous basis, where the cubs will be the new generation, the female cubs will kind of be the more the new generation bringing the pride through. But yeah, I hope that answered your question for you. These two older females on the mound are just keeping an eye on where the youngsters are going. I think they're just kind of having a bit of an exploration to themselves. Now, I hope the rest of the team that left after Big Cat Week, I hope they're all watching and enjoying these images as much as we are. This is just a fantastic sighting. Okay, we've had a question from Jackie in Minnesota asking why lions and buffalo don't get along. The easiest way to answer that question is the lions see the buffalo as food. That's pretty much the short answer to it. So one of the lions' favorite meals is buffalo. So these guys will, if they see a herd of buffalo, they will trail them and they will try and pick out either one that's either a little bit slower, maybe potentially wounded, or even younger members of a buffalo herd. So yeah, the short answer to that question is buffalo are very high on a lion's menu. Now, one of the interesting things about the buffalo when they are under threat from lions, or one of the members is being singled out, the pride of lions will the buffalo will actually come back and defend any members of the herd quite vigorously if they can from the pride of lions, and try and get these lions off or away from the buffalo that's being singled out and being targeted by the lions. I hope that answered your question, Jackie. Oof. Could you just reconfirm the name? I couldn't catch if it was Nkuhuma or Nkuhuma. Okay, yeah, so we sat with the Nkuhuma pride, and from the last count there was 9. That's 9 of these lions, one for each life. Pretty much an all-female pride. Well, not all-female pride, but there's only one male within this pride at the moment who's got the beginnings of a fairly sizable mane. The rest are fairly immature cubs, with some quite sizable females, which one of them will be kind of like the main breeding female within the group, and will be sisters and aunties within the pride as well. But yeah, there's from the last count there was 9, and there's probably a dominant male padding around somewhere, just doing his own thing and just having a bit of time to himself. Just a question from Christine, asking if lions have an odour like elephants and potentially buffalo and any other animals do. They do. It's more their scat that has that's their droppings or feces that has a distinct odour about it. From where I am at the moment, she's got a bit of a limp actually, this one. Just a slight limp in her back right leg. Interesting. Yeah, but from where I was sat, I couldn't smell these lions at all. So I'm just going to move forward and try and get a good view of these guys again. just had a question from Tinley in Illinois. Hi Tinley, hope you're well. Hope you're enjoying the ride. Tinley's just asking about the ratio of cubs born within a pride. If there's more females born or if there's more males born within a pride. To be honest, Tinley, I'm not 100% certain, so it's something I'll have to research for you. But judging within this pride dynamic, there does seem to be quite a few young boisterous males in this pride actually. Just going to pull back a bit. Let's give it a bit better. Okay, we just had a question through from Russell in Texas asking, with a pride this size, is it more difficult for them to hunt and surprise prey? It's a difficult question to answer really. Some prides will be more adept hunters than others, whereas some will not be as good. I suppose it depends on the actual pride and the area within which they're hunting and they're inhabiting. I'm just going to manoeuvre quickly because we're getting some nice behaviour. We're not getting a good view for you, so just bear with me and I'll finish answering your question as we're moving. I suppose one of the other questions is not how difficult it is for them to hunt, but maybe how frequent they have to hunt as well. I mean, the pride this size, it has a lot of mouths to feed, so the amount of times that they will have to hunt and take down prey just to keep all these bellies full will play a large role into how successful they are as well. I mean, a sub-adult buffalo probably won't last these guys too long, maybe a couple of days, if that, just judging by the size of the pride. So it's a difficult question to answer really. So, like I said, it just depends on a number of various factors. How good the individuals are, how good the teamwork is as such, even though it's not a case of each animal being specifically gifted and they can use tactics. I just think there's just too many variables to actually determine whether a single pride or how large a pride is to determine how successful they are or how stealthy they can be when taking on their prey. I think I got the gist of that question. It's from Tim on Twitter asking if there's a typical size for a pride. Oh, sorry. Kim with a K, apologies Kim. Asking if there's a typical size for a pride. Difficult one to answer, really. A pride consists of just I don't know, 5 to 6, but it can grow up to anything up to 20 lions perhaps. I mean, this is a nice sized pride in itself, with a good range of, a good mixture of mature fully grown, some sub-adults and some young ones as well. But as for size of prides, I don't think there is a definite number where you can say yes, this is a good size for pride. and a definite definition for a number of animals within a pride. Again, there's just a lot of variables such as food, water, competition from other species, competition from other prides as well. So I think there's a lot of variables. So there's going to be no definite answer. There you go. Is that okay for you, Jason? We've got the two of the youngsters just frolicking in the foreground. And here comes an older one just to check up on these cubs. Maybe have a bit of a rough and tumble with them as well. Just had an interesting question from Brianna in Texas. Hi, how you doing, Brianna? Hope you're enjoying the drive. Asking how often a male will join up with the females or the rest of the pride. He'll probably spend quite a lot of time with the pride, actually, but he'll also spend a lot of the time kind of doing his own thing. I don't think there's a set ratio where you can determine, okay, yes, he'll spend 60% of the time with the pride and 40% of the time kind of patrolling the boundaries of the territory or the home range. He'll probably just pretty much come and go as he pleases. So yeah, I don't think there's any real definitive ratio to the time spent with the pride. It's just he'll come and go as he pleases. If he's wanting a bit of company, maybe, because lions are probably the most sociable of the big cats. So they do like to spend time with each other. Yeah, these cubs seem pretty playful and pretty interested in all manner of trees. That one's just having a bit of a tumble through a silver cluster leaf. Right, just going to move forward and see if we can get some better images for you. Sorry, I'm making your life difficult here, Jason. Going to try and get ahead of them a bit so they can start walking towards us. They're all already making their way through some clearings. You just see them on the left hand side, just about 10-11 o'clock. So I'm just going to come around this corner and then cut in if I can. Hi Bob G, welcome aboard. Hope you're enjoying the drive. Bob says that he's not seen the dominant male of this pride. Will he be in the area? Bob, sorry, Yeah, sorry, Barb G, my mistake. Barb's saying that she doesn't see the dominant male within the pride, and asking whereabouts he'll be. As I mentioned, he'll be somewhere in the locality. He'll probably just kind of spending a bit of time on his own, just having a patrol of his boundaries and just making sure that there's no potential threats to taking over this pride. So he could potentially even be kind of towards more of the Arathusa side, which is on the eastern side of the Djuma property, just kind of keeping an eye and just making sure the Djuma boys aren't going to be kind of encroaching on his territory. I mean, that's one possibility. Or he could be, I don't know, 1k away, just kind of taking a bit of time to himself and just relaxing, just having a bit of me time, as it were. But I'm pretty sure that you know, he will eventually kind of meet up again with the rest of the pride and just spend a bit of time with them. It's a good observation there, Bob. Very good observation. Now these guys are in a very good position at the moment. They've got some nice cover. The grass is starting to get longer, so it's going to aid their hunting a lot more, give them a lot more opportunity to be stealthy. But there's a nice tree line just ahead of them, and the wind is blowing into their faces, which is going to give them an advantage if it comes to hunting. Because if there's any potential prey, such as buffalo or anything else in that tree line, they're not really going to have too much of an indication that these lions are approaching, whereas these lions will be getting a good scent of anything that's going to be ahead of them. But these guys seem fairly chilled at the moment. They're just kind of walking, taking a bit of a rest, just plodding along, just enjoying their afternoon. Ooh, we just had a little bit of a soft vocalization there. So we had an interesting question from Marilyn in Canada, asking if lions will sidestep a puddle like domesticated or house cats would do. I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not entirely sure. But maybe if we follow these guys enough, then potentially they would sidestep the puddle. I mean, a lot of cats don't like getting wet, and there's only a few species in the world that actually do enjoy a bit of a swim. I mean, tigers like to swim. So it is potential that they will sidestep a puddle. But in all honesty, I'm not 100% certain on that answer. A question from Skipper on Twitter, I believe it was, asking if female lions roar. They will vocalize, but they won't use it to the same effect or for the same reasons that the male lions do. They won't use it to kind of assert their dominance or to vocalize to kind of give an indication that they're there and they're in charge. But they definitely will vocalise, but I don't think it'll be to the same degree or to the same aspect of a roar that the male lion will actually use to advertise that he's there, he's dominant, he's in charge, and he's basically going to defend his territory or his pride. But they do vocalise, but not in the same respect as the males will. Hi Sharon, how are you doing? Interesting question from you, asking if lions have a Jacobson's organ like a domestic cat has. Sharon, I'm sorry to say, your domestic cat doesn't have a Jacobson's organ. It has something called a verminasal organ, if I get the pronunciation correct, which is kind of similar. They do the Fleming grin to in a way taste the air to see what pheromones are in the air. But there's the difference between a Jacobson's organ and the verminasal, can't get the word out, organ, is the Jacobson organ actually helps determine an animal such as a reptile if there is the pheromones or what they're sensing is to the left or right. Because mammals have such a better degree of sight, they don't actually need to use this to determine whether to go left or right, or which direction the pheromones or the scent is coming from. So it is a very similar organ in some respects, but the the one beginning with a V, can't get my words out today, it's not as developed to help them determine where the direction of the scent is coming from, because they have heightened other senses such as sight to help determine where the scent or the pheromones are originating from. But yeah, it's an interesting question now, thank you. Female ibex just sniffing the air. Not sure what she'll be smelling. Female does appear to have a bit of a sniffle. She's sneezing quite a lot. Maybe she's got a touch of hay fever. Bit of a cursory flick of the tail there. And down she plonks. Oof. That male in the background looks as though he's going to have a nice sizable mane on him. Nice dark stripe running down the top of his head. Another question from Jacqueline on Twitter asking if lions purr like domestic cats. Well, that's lovely behaviour. just watching what these two are getting up to at the moment. Now, I've never actually heard lions purr, per se. I'm led to believe they do. However, I'm not really in the mood to start tickling their chins to see if it's going to work. No, I know you guys are probably all enjoying the lions, but I'm going to do a Hayden here. I'm going to ask you, do you want to stick with these lions for a bit longer, or should we see what's around the next corner? So if you want to send just as I was going to mention, if you want to send a tweet or an email to Final Control, to Brian, at questions@wildearth.tv or hashtag Safari Live, and just let us know whether you're happy to spend a bit more time just lying around, or if you'd like to go for a bit of a drive and see what's around the next corner. I mean, I don't think these guys will move off too far, so there is a potential of catching up with them again later. Which obviously I can't promise, because it's these are wild animals, so they could move off at any time. But yeah, I'll leave it up to you guys to decide, and let me know what you'd like to do. Okay, I think it's a resounding majority to stay with these lions. Pretty good choice, actually. We've not seen or spent some quality time with some cats, or such a long duration with cats for quite a while. So yeah, good choice, guys. Good choice. That's quite a nice picture. If you just pan across, there's the young male just resting his chin on the female. That's quite a nice scene. It looks very comfortable there. It just kind of shows that there is a social bond between these animals, within a pride. There is a social bond where they do like to spend time with each other and just kind of relax within a group environment. Just having a bit of companionship, I guess. just had an interesting question from Douglas on Twitter. Hi Douglas, hope you're well and enjoying the drive. Douglas is wanting to know if I or we avoid making direct eye contact with the lions when we're in situations such as this and in close proximity. I personally do. I think it's probably a pretty bad idea because it's kind of showing these lions that you're just showing them maybe a little bit of disrespect in a way. If you kind of avoid eye contact, or if you do catch eye contact, just obviously don't stare them down, because I think that might slightly raise or antagonize aggression out of them. I mean, it's not likely that they would charge the vehicle, but you certainly don't want to kind of antagonize them or just give them a reason just to wind them up a bit, I guess. So no, I personally I wouldn't give direct eye contact to the lions, definitely not for a prolonged period of time. I mean, within the confinements of the vehicle, it is different to when you're on foot as well. I mean, on foot, we certainly wouldn't contemplate getting this close to the lions. So there'd be no real reason to have direct eye contact with them. I mean, if you were on foot and you were to get this close into the lions, it wouldn't be on purpose. It'd probably be a bump, or what we call a bump encounter. And in those circumstances, you certainly really wouldn't want to make direct or prolonged direct eye contact with the lions. And you'd want to give them as much space as you can and to move away to a more comfortable distance. Not just a comfortable distance for you, but also the lions as well. But personally, no, I wouldn't. I don't really think giving these guys direct eye contact is a very good idea. The wind is swirling a bit more now, so it's not just coming from one direction. So be interesting to see what these guys do shortly. Kind of hear some Franklin's alarm. Sorry. Sorry, could you just repeat the name, please? Okay. Hi, Carol, all the way from South Carolina. Carol's just asking if this is the alpha male within this group, or the pride. I'm pretty certain it's not, Carol. He looks too young. His mane isn't fully developed. He's still pretty much just earlier, not so much now. He's kind of just chilling out now. He's still kind of displaying behaviour of a sub-adult, so he's just having a bit of a rough and tumble with some of the other members of the pride. The more mature, dominant males, they will still have a bit of a rough and a tumble, but he was just kind of showing that he's still a bit immature. I mean, his mane isn't fully developed, and he certainly really isn't sizable enough to be in control of a pride, especially his size. So I don't think, I'm pretty certain this guy is not the dominant male. As I mentioned earlier, there will more than likely be a dominant male somewhere in the vicinity. Obviously can't be 100% how far away he is, because we've not seen him, but he'll be either spending a bit of time by himself or just patrolling his territory and just reassuring his boundaries. But I don't think that this guy will be the dominant male within the pride. He's just, to me, he seems too young. But, a nice question, and something you can kind of expand on. Thank you for that. pride split into kind of a bit of a 2 or 3 locations. I don't really want to kind of put my vehicle too much in between them and create a bit of a barrier. So what I might do, just pull back a bit, because we've got a few young ones to our left, and then a bit ahead of them we've got a large majority of the pride, and then we've got the 2 big female and the larger of the males in front of us. So I'm just going to go towards the younger ones, I think, because they seem to be the ones that have displaying a bit more activity. So like I said, I don't really want to split the pride up or put myself in between members of the pride, cause a bit of an obstruction for them. I'm just going to manoeuvre, as I said, and just give you a bit of a variation. But actually, if I can get in the right position, I might be able to get a good view of the entire pride in a line. Getting eyeballed by one of the females. Oops, sorry lady. An interesting question from Teresa. Question from Teresa on email, just asking if TB or tuberculosis is a problem within the Sabi Sands, and if lions are susceptible to it. Unfortunately, yes, they are, Teresa. Lions are susceptible to bovine TB, which is usually carried within buffalo, and she's also asking if the lions will avoid eating any part of the buffalo to reduce the risk of contracting the illness. No, Teresa, unfortunately they don't. They'll pretty much eat as much as they can of the buffalo. Obviously they'll leave a few bits and bobs, such as the skull and the horns, but they'll pretty much devour as much as they can, without actually giving any thought to any potential contraction of tuberculosis. It is unfortunate, but it's one of the things that happens in the wild, unfortunately. Yeah, they don't really give any caution to any illnesses, so I suppose they don't really consider things such as, will I catch tuberculosis or will I catch any other illness if I devour this buffalo or anything else that I might get my paws on. So no, they don't really give any thought to the consequences of eating an infected animal. Oof, she's a pretty girl, isn't she? Hello, sweetheart. Ooh. See, there was a question earlier, I can't remember who it was from, asking if female lions roar. You can just hear that one just vocalising. I hope you can pick it up on the speakers. They do vocalise, just not in the same veracity, or for the same reasons as a male lion. I mean, potentially she could have been just vocalising just to see if the dominant male was in the area. I mean, that's a definite possibility. Or she could have just been saying to the rest of the pride, right, come on board, let's move. Hi Don in Pennsylvania. Just asking a good question there. Will these lions take a hunting opportunity if it presents itself? Without a shadow of a doubt, Don, I think they would. The lions don't just actively hunt, they're opportunistic as well. If a herd of buffalo were to start crossing this open area, and they were to have the, I suppose, to use the word again, the opportunity to take down one of these buffalo, yeah, they would definitely do that. I mean, not necessarily a buffalo. It could be zebra, it could be any other potential prey species as well. I mean, they would definitely take opportunity for a meal. I mean, it would even be a case of if they already had a kill as well and they were busy feeding on that. If an opportunity arose to take down another animal, they would definitely take that opportunity again. They never know when the next meal is going to be available to them. It's not like they can just pop down to the local supermarket or to order a pizza or anything like that whenever they want. They need to take whatever opportunity they can get. So if something did come along, for certain, they would definitely do their best to try and take it down, or at least give themselves an opportunity or an opening to take down their next meal. I'm just going to move a little bit. These guys are just kind of edging a bit more further forward. Black-bellied bustard just coming into land in the background. Black-bellied Quran, whichever name you want to use. Oh, and there seems to be another one coming in as well. Where's he going to land? Or she? It's flying in above us. Don't land in the middle of the lines. You don't want to do that. Fantastic panning work there by Jason. Very well done to keep up with that, man. Fantastic. Ooh. Now this could be quite interesting because he seems to have attracted the interest of the cubs. Don't think they'll be able to catch it, but they'll certainly have a go to have a quick play with that. Oh, there he goes. Cub's just disturbed it and it's just flying off in our general direction. Rain is starting to come down a little bit now, so we're going to keep an eye on it. If it does get a little worse, or much worse, we're going to have to leave these guys to it, unfortunately, but we'll stick with them as long as we can. I do apologise for a few spots of water on the lens. Going to try and get ahead of them again so we can get them as they walk towards us. The youngsters are just having a bit of a rough and tumble to the right just ahead of us. Just get around these bushes and you'll be able to get a good view of them. These guys are loving trees. Got a good question from Jonathan in Ontario, Canada, asking if there's a dominant female within this group. There will be a dominant female to a certain degree. There'll be like an alpha female. Well, she'll be kind of in kind of control of this pride and kind of just lead them a little bit, while there's maybe coordinate hunting tactics a little bit. Potentially, I think it's this female that's got a slight limp in her one of her back legs. I think that could be the dominant female within the group. She looks to be a little bit older than the rest of them. Uh-oh, no, see, this isn't good. This isn't good. Nearly called them a herd then, apologies. Pride seem to be a little spread out now, just very relaxed in their surroundings. That's a lovely shot you've got there, Jason. Really nice. Oh, some nice interaction going on there. Just a bit of a sniff. Say, hey, how are you doing? And if you pan just to the right, you've got the cubs padding through as well. So to make your life difficult. He was just having a little bit of a jog. He's slowed down a bit now, but he was just having a bit of a pad through. So the voices you can hear in the background, we've got a couple of vehicles. Oh, what's this girl up to? Easy girl. She's definitely caught the scent of something. She's very interested in something. I'm not sure what she's seen or she's smelled. See, her ears are pricked up. She's looking quite tense. She's got her eye on something. What can you see? What can you see? I think she's having a bit of a stalk actually. Oh no, I can see what she sees. Yeah, there's a black-bellied Quran just in the grass. I think she's a little ambitious for her. There's a black-bellied Quran just kind of parked in the grass. I think it was a little bit ambitious for her. just going to come padding past again. Easy girl. See, she's just being a bit inquisitive. Oh, bless you. She's just being a bit inquisitive. See, these vehicles aren't quite the same sort of shape and size of the game drive vehicles, so they are a little bit different to what they're used to. But oh, she's getting quite playful and boisterous. Sorry, as I was saying, so they do potentially show a little bit more interest in what these vehicles are. She's quite a playful little one now. Definitely got a bit of attitude about her. Yeah, that's a fantastic shot, Jason. Listen, she's looking, just pan to the one that's coming in front of us. She's just looking a little bit on the thin side, so I think these guys will be hunting soon. Just had a nice question from Dan in Middletown. Asking if a pregnant female will, when she's pregnant or just about to give birth, will she, oh, this female by the trees definitely got some attitude about her, definitely very playful. Sorry, digressing. Will she take herself away from the pride and give birth? Yes, she will. She'll kind of take herself off, just to have a bit of privacy. Keep herself a bit secluded, give birth, and just kind of shelter the newborn cubs, just for a little bit of time, and then gradually kind of introduce them to the rest of the pride. These girls are getting very frisky. Not sure if you can get a close-up of the ones pawing on the tree, but you can just get more of a size comparison, or a good idea of the actual size of their paws, and of course the claws that are attached to them. Oh, wow! Definitely don't want to get a clap from one of those. But sorry, yeah, digressing slightly away from that. Yeah, a female lioness will kind of just take herself off away from the pride slightly, have a bit of solitude, have her cubs, and then eventually kind of introduce them to the rest of the pride. Yeah, these guys are starting to move. They're definitely being active, and they are getting very restless. So I'm kind of wondering if they're eventually going to hunt. Obviously I can't promise anything, I don't mean to build your hopes up, but a couple of the females were looking pretty thin, pretty hungry. So I think these guys will be hunting soon. So I'll wait just a couple of minutes and then see if we can follow the pride on some of the roads and not go too much into the thickets, because don't want to disturb them too much, and with all the rain that we've been having as well, the soil and the terrain is going to be a little bit tricky for us to go off-roading too much. without either damaging the vehicle or damaging the substrate too much, or even getting stuck. As good as these vehicles are, but one of the main concerns is that we don't want to damage the substrate too much. But we will stick with them. We'll see what they get up to, and with a bit of luck, we'll get a bit of action from them. They're definitely becoming interested. Okay, we've just had a message from a gentleman by the name of Peter Brass. You guys may well have heard that name before. He's one of the original members of the Wild Earth team. He's one of the integral members of the Wild Earth team. I'd like to stress that. He's one of our tech geniuses. The guy who's been part of the team that's been responsible to bringing this fantastic, these fantastic images to you. He's actually the technical director for Wild Earth. Just a quick shout out and hello to him, and say hello to Jamie, Lee, and Damien, who are also watching. So good afternoon to you guys, and I hope you're enjoying the drive. And there's some of these lionesses are proving to be quite, for lack of a better word, boisterous in their behaviour. They're getting quite brave and interesting to watch. So we're just going to come round on the road and just follow them for a little while and see what we can see what activity we can watch. There is an old road here, so rather than blasting through the bush directly, we'll take a bit of the road round. And the lines go where the road doesn't, so I think we'll take where the road doesn't go. Like I said before, I don't want to get too close to these guys. Just give them their space, just respect their space a bit. Don't want to pressure them into doing anything they don't necessarily want to do or naturally do. That's one of the most important things about being on safari or observing wildlife, is not to interfere with it, or cause as little interference as possible. Just observe them in their natural environment, doing what comes naturally. Just had an email from Adam. Hi Adam, hope you're doing well, hope you're enjoying the drive. Asking how long lions live. Gonna have to be a bit of an ambiguous answer to that question, Adam. There's no real way to say. Ooh, sorry, I didn't even see this one coming through. Apologies. No real definition of how long a lion will live, because there's too many variables. I mean, obviously, they could. When they're young, they could. Sorry. I'm just going to reverse a bit. So I'll get back to your question in a second, Adam. So I was just watching what was going to be happening here. Sorry, Adam. Yeah, there's no real definition or definitive answer that can say that a lion will live to X, Y, and Z years old. There's too many variables involved. I mean, a young male lion, when he's attempting to take over a pride and go for dominance, he could be killed and injured, or injured and killed even, or the other way around. Or they could, I don't know, become injured whilst on a hunt. But a good age for a male lion to, you know, basically be successful, to take over a pride, sire some young, and live to a fairly decent age. Would probably be to about 12, 14, maybe 15 years old. But that would be a good age for a male lion in the wild. Females maybe a little bit longer, depending. But again, there's just a lot of variables within that. They could lions could become ill, could become injured and unable to feed. But roughly, you know, between the sort of rough age would be between 12, 14, 15 years for a male lion, maybe a slightly longer for a female, depending on circumstances. But thank you for your question, Adam. Okay, so we've been with the Nkuhuma pride since the drive began. I've lost all sense of time actually being on this drive. I'm having such a good time with these guys. There's 9 lions within this pride. The makeup of there's a few older females. There's probably one more mature female compared to the rest of them. There's a few youngish cubs, maybe between 4 to 6 months old, and there appears to be one sub-adult male, which could be maybe between 2.5 to at a push 3 years old. He's just starting to get a nice mane on him. He's got a nice bit of a black tuft on top of his head. Looks like he's got a bit of bed head, but he's starting to develop a nice mane. We've followed these guys probably for about maybe about 2.5, 3 kilometers from where we first picked up on them, just off the Arathusa road, which is about 600 meters from our final control. And we just kind of observed them wandering through the undergrowth, having a bit of a play, having a bit of a lie down, and just basically just enjoying watching them behave naturally, just at a nice comfortable distance. We've had a nice bit of play action from the younger cubs, a bit of interaction with the older members of the pride as well. It's been really nice to watch them. And within the last half an hour or so, they have become a bit more active. They have kind of given signs that they are potentially going to hunt this evening. They are looking not so full and lethargic, so there is a good opportunity and a good possibility that they will actually hunt either this evening, tonight, or in the early hours of the morning. But we will try and stick with them as close as we can, obviously keeping our distance to a respectable distance and not trying to push them into doing anything that they don't want to do, or into a situation which could cause them either harm or antagonize them, or just any unwanted or untoward aggression. But we're just enjoying their company quite nicely. Okay. Okay, fantastic. I've just had a bit of research and feedback from Final Control from Brian. Thank you. Just saying that during Big Cat Week it was documented. Okay, thank you, Robin, for your information. That was fed to Final Control, Robin, on Twitter. Just advising that it was documented on Big Cat Week, which ashamedly I did miss, showing that the rest of the Pride did actually assist one of the females. Sorry, I'm just squishing mosquitoes. Assist one of the injured females of the Pride that had an injured jaw to actually feed and while she recuperated. That's quite nice to know. Thank you, Robin. Thank you for your information. So we're just watching one of these females here. Sorry, as I was saying, we're just watching this the rest of this Pride. I don't want to edge too far forward. Just watching the rest of this Pride a little bit from a distance, because they were getting a little bit energetic and a little bit boisterous earlier, so I just want to give them a little bit of space. We just had a question through from I believe Hilda in Belgium, asking if other females will come and join this Pride. This Pride, as it is probably all pretty much related. But if they were to stumble across another group of females, sorry, I've just got flies around me, excuse me. It's not unheard of for other females to come and join or take part or join on to another Pride. So it would be interesting to see if this Pride would be accepted or would accept other females into the Pride. Be an interesting thing to actually see develop, two Prides coming together and joining forces. I mean, I'm going to say yes, they would more than likely accept them. Probably not straight away. There probably would be a little bit of a kind of barrier, or not barrier as such, a bit of a caution between the two Prides to see if there was going to be any aggressive behaviour. But I think after a while, if there was kind of signs that there was no competition as such and these females were willing to kind of join into the Pride rather than be aggressive towards them, then I'm pretty sure that they would kind of be more accepting towards them. So now these guys have just moved forward a little bit and made Jason's job a little bit more difficult. I'm just going to pull forward by about 3 or 4 meters just to give you guys a bit of a better shot. Like I said, I'm not going to push these guys too much. I'm going to pull forward just a little bit just to give you a bit of a better angle for viewing. Had an interesting question from I think it's the Stain family in Cape Town, asking if a male comes into the Pride, or a new male comes into the Pride and takes over the Pride and kills off some of the younger cubs, at what age would he not kill the cubs? Hi guys. I think it would probably be determined on well, to be honest, I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, I'll be completely honest, I'm not entirely sure on that one. I will do some research on that one for you, so if somebody can just make control can make a note of your email address, and just a quick note of the question. I'll do a bit of research this evening and I will get back to you. But yeah, it's an interesting question. One I will definitely like to have a bit more of a definitive answer for myself, actually. But thank you for that one. a nice family group we've got here. The two that Jason's just focusing on, just having a bit of a play around with each other, just batting each other gently with the paws. No malice in there at all, just a bit of play fighting. Got one of the game drive vehicles with us. They're just manoeuvring in position to get a good view of these guys as well. That's the noise you can hear in the background. Positioning's not very good here, guys, so I'm making Jason's job very difficult. Now, what have you guys heard? There's two kind of at the back of the... Now, this could be quite interesting. There seems to be a bit of activity here where some of the pride have pricked up their ears and they're just becoming very interested in something. I mean, obviously these guys have got a lot better hearing and a lot better sense of smell than we have, so not entirely sure what they've smelt or what they've heard. It's an interesting question from Kathy asking how old the cubs are. Well, there's a range of ages within this pride. The two smallest ones, I'm probably going to guesstimate anywhere between potentially three to 5 months old. So they're still fairly small. They've still got quite a lot of spot coloration on their legs, especially towards the thigh area, and potentially on the inside as well. We'll see if a bit later on, because they're a bit in the trees at the moment, so we'll see if we can get a better picture of those spot markings for you. But they're still the spot markings are still quite prominent, so it does kind of show that they are still quite young. Oh, she's definitely interested in something. But yeah, the two smaller ones, they're probably somewhere between 3 and 5 months old. Now, the pride's kind of perked their ears up, and just ahead of me, through where this one's walking, just a bit ahead of her, There's another one of the lionesses. She's just kind of stalked into the bush, and just beyond her, the rest of the pride are actually following. Now, I'm going to move off because the road kind of does go in that general direction. So if we're quick enough, and we're fortunate enough, we'll see these guys in a bit of action. Sorry, nearly lost a cameraman in a bump. Sorry, Jason. These cars are just superb to drive. I know the other guys have been saying how good these cars are to drive, but wow, they're so manoeuvrable in these circumstances. Just going to try and head them off a little bit. Kind of a rough direction of where they are going. Don't want to interfere too much with them. Too much of a close distance, but this road does bend around in the general direction of where they were heading, so hopefully we won't have to go too much off-road to see what these guys get up to. These guys have gone into stalk mode, and this is going to be a little tricky, but we're going to keep our eyes open, see what we can see. Appears that they've already crossed the road. Just trying to get a visual, decent visual on them. I think I've got them. Jason seems to have spotted them, but I'm failing it. Let's bear with it. Okay. Now this could be interesting. There's a kudu just in the undergrowth there, female kudu. She appears to be alone. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. This is potentially what those lions had heard and smelled. Sit and wait here for a while. We can see if anything comes of this situation. This kudu is very, very alert. Ears are pricked up. And those large ears of hers, they're omnidirectional. So that means they're able to turn their ears in any direction to aid picking up any sound. But these lines have gone into the undergrowth. They're still potentially on our left hand side. I think they might be coming up to the road now. It's not too sure. But this kudu is being very, very cautious. She's just moving off slightly, but she's still being very, very cautious.
Visual.
These guys have been moving silently. If they are stalking this kudu, which is a potential, they'll be keeping very quiet. But I'm just going to move forward a bit because they may well have moved. I'm just going to move forward a bit and see if they have crossed over. They did look as though they were moving with intent. So we're looking very, very alert. The ears were pricked up. Quite an aggressive stance as they move through the undergrowth. I'm just going to check on the road for any signs of any tracks crossing the road as well, because that'll give us a good indication if these cats have crossed the road or not. habitats of kind of vanishing out on us, folks. Got any lucky charms? Get them out, start rubbing. I've not seen any tracks as yet crossing the road, so it is potentially that it's still to our left, or they may have seen this kudu and thought, no, we'll wait for a better opportunity. She was very alert. Those big ears of hers were very, very active, tuned into her surroundings, listening for the slightest sound. Fair, I think to be fair, we've probably gone past them. Just going to do a quick turn around. There is another 2 vehicles on this sighting with us, so we're all working together to try and get these lines back. That's the great thing about working within this sort of industry. A lot of people, a lot of the guides and a lot of the rangers, we all work together because we're all working towards a common goal. So it's nice. One of the other vehicles has actually helped us a great deal with this. They've actually stopped and they've seen the lions, so they seem to be moving towards us. So we can't really see them at the moment, but they seem to be moving towards our general direction. Yeah, I can see them now. Yeah, here they come. Here they come. I think these guys are definitely on the hunt. They seem to be moving through the bush with a bit of purpose. Just need to keep an eye on a couple of these ladies as they come past us. They are moving with definite intent. I just want to give this lady a bit of space and just ignore her. She's eyeing Jason up at the moment. I don't think he's going to taste very nice, darling. Okay, I'm just going to turn around quickly. I'll let these guys get ahead of me. Okay, I'm just going to let this vehicle go ahead of me, and then we'll follow on from behind them. Yeah, so these guys actually saw the line, so I'm going to give them precedence to actually go ahead of me, and then we'll follow suit. In the meantime, I'm just going to find a nice little area to turn around in, and then we can come back and keep up with them. So just bear with me 2 seconds, guys. The last remaining members of the pride are just coming past the vehicles that are ahead of us. So we'll just patiently wait up, turn, and then we'll hopefully get an opportunity to catch up with them and see what we're up to, what they're up to, until we close. They appear to be just kind of following the light, following the road at the moment. And if I do get an opportunity to kind of get around these guys, I will take it, obviously. So get you guys to have a continued viewing of these Leos. And if they do decide to go into the thickets, I will do my best to follow them for you. That's what these vehicles were designed for. I'm just going to pull forward and get more alongside this guy, so get a good view. That's definitely a screenshot grabbing the room. There's some fantastic camera work being done here, guys. Some lovely shots. And we've got the cubs just coming through now. They're just going to come out potentially on the left-hand side of your screen, or they could just completely ignore what I say. Oh no, just see them bouncing through the undergrowth there. Unfortunately, I don't think Jason will be able to get a shot for you, just because of my positioning. I'm going to go slightly off-road between these vehicles. There you go, scampering across the road. shots for you. We go between these vehicles. Should get some nice images. I love how playful these guys are. A bit of a rough and tumble. It's good practice for when they're older. Just play fighting for now, but as they get older, these play fighting get a bit more boisterous and a bit more violent. Yeah, good, you?
Yeah. I'll give you a shot if the guys come back. That's what you have plans of conduct.
Okay, cool. Okay, sharp, thank you. Cool. No, after you, mate. Just speaking to Ryan, one of the guides from Arathusa. He's been a great help to us and very welcoming over the last few weeks. It's always important to build and kind of a rapport and relationships with the guides, not just in the lodges that you're working with, but also in the surrounding lodges and surrounding properties. So that, like I said earlier, you're all working towards a common cause, and that's to kind of not just give guests good sightings of wildlife, but it kind of opens a door to them to kind of the importance of how things are left in a natural way. Well, yeah, it's about teamwork. I mean, the sizes of these properties and the size of the Kruger and the Sabi Sands, it's just immense. And without good teamwork, we wouldn't, not just you guys, but any of the guests on any other vehicles, on any of the properties actually, without teamwork, viewings such as these would be a lot fewer and far in between. Sorry. These guys seem to be following the road, which, to be fair, cats, well, a lot of animals are just like us. I mean, why take the difficult route of traversing through thickets, wandering around trees, when you can take the shortest, smoothest and easiest route, which is obviously going to require less effort and less energy. Just see if I can get myself positioned. There we go. Sorry, could you just repeat that question? I got some of it, but just not the majority of it. Just need to clarify. Thank you. Interesting question from Lewis in New York about hunting strategies of prides, whether they would split up, some go ahead, some stay behind, or would they do like a two-pronged attack, maybe flanking. I'm not overly convinced of prides having set tactics when it comes to hunting. So I'll just change gear. I'm not as I was saying, I'm not overly convinced that lions have a certain tactic when it comes to hunting. They will play on each other's strengths. But I think it's more of a case of seizing the moment, to be fair, rather than a particular few lions saying, right, okay, you guys go left, we'll go right. And it's just determined by the situation and the opportunities that arise from those. But I don't necessarily think that they have certain strategies where they will flank. I mean, they will work together to kind of single out a particular member of a herd, whether it's a younger member or an elderly or even an injured or a sick member of a herd. They will kind of work in a way to kind of single out that particular animal, but I don't think they've got any particular strategy where they will coordinate with a degree of sort of military type precision. It is an interesting question. Again, I think it just depends on the animals. But these two young cubs are definitely very playful. I'm just going to see if I can pull forward a little bit without losing a cameraman. So the beauty of these little vehicles in comparison to the big game viewers is I can squeeze through places that they can't. We've got the nice big male just on our right. Well, not the big male, but the bigger male of this particular group. Just padding his way through. These guys seem to enjoy climbing trees. Now, there's a reserve down in the Natal region of South Africa called Mfolozi. They have lions which have been known to actually prefer to climb trees. Because lions climbing trees, except for play, isn't really... Ooh, just don't want to split the pride up too much because there's just some on our left. Besides play and just general tomfoolery, lions don't generally tend to climb trees a huge amount. Obviously not as much as leopards do. But there's prides in the Mfolozi Park which actually use trees more for their benefit. They'll use... Sorry, this guy. Obviously not in an evil way. I'm kind of hoping this little cub loses his balance a bit and just puts a bit of a show on for us, but that's just the cheekiness in me. But sorry, yeah, as I was saying, the prize in the Shishleyan-Falosi Park, they are known to actually use trees to get vantage points to hunt and to see what's around them and to take down their prey. A couple of lionesses just through the thickets to our left, and if I push through, I might kind of separate them, just giving them a bit of a reason to get agitated. So I'm just going to sit here for a few minutes. We've got a good view, so there's no need to push them too much. Classic lion poser, that one they've got in frame is just doing. She's just kind of sat laid there, paws in front, just listening, just having a sniff around and a listen and a watch. But you guys at home, if you've got cats, you'll see your cat in that position quite a lot. And I wonder how many of you who have cats, with the cats in the room, and you've just looked at your cat to see if it is actually sat in that position. I'm going to pull forward a bit for you guys. I just need to be a little bit cautious. See where these females are. Go around these trees, get to military space, just bear with me. And the rest of the prize just to our right. Just had a good question from Tina on asking if these guys make a kill. It's deep in the bush. Will they vocalise? Will they vocalise to advertise that the kill is there? More than likely not. I mean, the majority of the pride is here. If well, the pride is here. If there is a dominant male, he'll kind of have a rough idea where they are, in a way, by just you know, following their scent. But to actually advertise that there is a kill would probably be a detriment to the pride if there are any competing prides in the area, because that'll kind of advertise that that they are there, they've made a kill, and it kind of might just it might just put a bit more pressure on them to kind of have to compete for what they've already expelled so much energy to actually take down and consume. So no, I don't think that they would vocalise to such a loud manner. I don't think they would vocalise in such a loud manner. I mean, there'll be communication between themselves, snarls, growls, a little bit of vocalisation, kind of a bit of a slight pecking order as to who can chow down first. But lots of vocalisation and loud vocalisation, kind of as a triumphant yay, we've taken something down. I seriously doubt that would happen at all. These guys are moving, so we'll stay with them. Looks like it's just me, or us, sorry, not me, because we're all on this together. Us and one other vehicle on this pride, so we're definitely going to stick with them till close. Got the question. I've got two in mind, but I can't be certain. So if you just clarify, I've got two in mind, but I can't 100% be certain. You can lambast me later. It's a nice shot, that. Nice shot. See, they are making their way in stages through the bush, and obviously through the clearings as well. But they're just kind of moving along at their own pace. They're not in full stalk mode. I think this is more like if they do have the opportunity to take something down, they must certainly take it. But at the moment, they're not actively hunting to a degree, or with some vigour, or with some purpose. They're just kind of taking the time. Maybe still slightly waking up from the afternoon sleeping exertions, but they're not being too vivacious about their hunting. I'm just going to move back a bit. Let's go a bit of space that's coming towards us. She's been a bit boisterous all afternoon, so I'm just going to give her a little bit of space. Easy girl. Good girl. She was just telling us to back off a little bit, as she was doing earlier with her. Saying, give us our space. Oof. She's got some big gnashes on her. I think if we'd have stayed where we were, she may have given us a bit of a rev, and just a bit of a warning that she wasn't too happy with us being there. I mean, she's given a few cursory flicks of her tail just at the moment, but she's definitely got a bit of attitude about her, as this girl. Females just coming in up behind her just to see what she's up to, and I think we're just going to keep a close eye on what these two do. They're only about between 8 and 10 feet away from us. Hopefully it's going to settle down. Yeah, good girl. There's something quite, for me, almost, I can't really put a proper word on it. When a lion stares straight at you, there's something quite, I don't know, humbling, as it were. I suppose that's one word I can use to describe it. I know we're not in the best of positions for a shot here. We've got that those branches in the way, but she gave us a bit of a we're not too happy with you being so close kind of look and stare. So I don't want to move just yet, but just in case it antagonizes a little bit. The other vehicle is just moving off, so what I might do, rather than pulling forward to get the shot, I'm going to reposition. I'm going to pull back a little bit onto the road and just be able to get you a bit of a wider shot of all these animals together. So just bear with me, guys. It's okay, sweetheart. You're okay. Just watching. She's definitely not happy with us being here. How's that for your shot, Jason? Nkuhuma? Actually, maybe not. Kind of separating the pride here, as I've just been pointed out. We had one big lioness just keeping an eye on us from the cover of some trees just to our right. I'm just going to pull back because I'm getting a nice shot of her. There we go. How's that? Just putting a little bit of light on it. Not too much. There we go. She's a decent sized female. Now, if we come back in the morning, if there hasn't been too much rain, and if we kind of start to look around this area, we might be able, if we're fortunate, we might be able to pick up some tracks on these guys to see which direction they may have moved off in. So I'm pretty sure these guys are going to be here for a little bit longer. Potentially have a hunt later in the night. So we'll see, maybe see if we can pick up on some tracks in the morning for them. What she smell? Wind is definitely picking up. I think we're going to be in for a bit of a blustery night tonight. Very, very good hunting conditions for these cats. The wind will kind of mask any sound of them approaching or stalking their prey. But also, depending on the direction that they're approaching or that they're walking in, if there's any prey in the proper direction for them, the wind blowing from the prey to the cats will be of great assistance for them, because the prey won't be able to, or there'll be hardly any scent whatsoever of these lions approaching, potentially buffalo, zebra, anything like that. But if the wind was in the opposite direction, whereas the wind was coming from the cats to the prey, it's going to give the prey a little bit more opportunity to actually pick up that the lions are approaching them. And also the sound will also carry further if they were to make any noise. But judging by how skinny they are, and by skinny I don't mean that they're malnourished by any means, but they look pretty hungry, and looks as though, in my opinion, I think these guys will hunt tonight. If not tonight, tomorrow morning. But we'll just pull forward just a little bit, just to give you a little bit of a better shot for close. So you see these cats walk down the road. want to dazzle them too much, even though they have got our backs to us. Okay guys, there's only about a minute to go. I'm not going to get too close to these guys, but what we'll do is we'll just pull up here, a couple of feet forward, because they do appear to be plonking down again slightly. I'll just stay here and watch these guys for the last few seconds. Well, what an absolutely superb afternoon we've had. We saw these lions pretty much from the word go, and had a good afternoon with them, watching some extremely good behaviour. So anyway, from me, it's good night, and we'll see you in the morning.